Smooth mate.
Yo, you already know what time it is. Welcome back to another episode of Thinker versus Speaker, a podcast where I, Marissa the Thinker, sit down with different guests once a week and we talk about all things, anything, everything, life, love, relationships, spirituality, literally whatever we want to talk about. So on that note, you know what I'm saying? We don't always know what we're going to talk about ahead of time, so take it as a general trigger warning. If we say something you don't like, love, or agree with, feel free to comment, because we are here to ultimately create a dialogue and talk about those different things so we can understand different people's opinions and where they're coming from. Or, you know, if it's just too much and you don't want to hear it, you know, do what you got to do, and hopefully you come back next week when we talk about something different, and then we can hop back into it. But with that being said, let's just go ahead and hop straight into it. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I'm doing recaps, so shout out to y'all if y'all keep up with everything. Like I said before, I'm going to be trying different stuff during this season compared to last season. Just trying a couple different things, ways of doing the show. And something that I wanted to try is, actually, it's not even that I wanted to try it. It's just that in the time that I spent away from the podcast, I was listening to some of the old episodes. And, you know, there are some episodes that I really like that happen at the very beginning of the show that I feel like deserve to get put into the spotlight once again. So this season, what I'll be doing is I'll be going through some of our old episodes and I'll be watching them with y'all. Like, I've went through and I've like cleaned up audio, changed up the background loops and everything like that, just to make the episode a little bit better, like audibly and visually. I mean, granted, it's only so much that you can do with a podcast that's not visual yet. Granted, I'm working on that for you guys, but you know, in the meantime, you know, I want to make it a little more visually appealing. Back in the day, all we had was like that picture of the thumbnail, and that was it. That was all for the episodes. So now we got a little bit more going on in the background. Granted, it ain't much, but it works, right? But like, also, you know, I didn't have a lot of the tools that I had now. And, you know, when it comes to like noise cancellation and just, you know, a couple different things. So I went through and I've cleaned the episodes up a little bit. And then I just want to sit down and just, you know, talk about them and live react with them, with y'all. So, you know, that's what I'll be doing today. I picked one of my favorite episodes that I've done, one of my personal favorites. And then I'm going to just go through and, you know what I'm saying, listen to it with y'all, live react with y'all, and, you know, just relive this episode. Because like I said, we've grown a lot since I've done this episode that I'm doing. And, you know, I feel like some of y'all might have missed it. And like I said, this one was good to me. It was the first time that I really came out of my shell, and I saw a different side of myself in a process, a side of myself that I had never seen before. Like, when it comes to talking about certain topics and subjects, of course I get passionate about things, but I don't know, it just hit different. So I'm not going to explain that too much. Y'all are literally about to watch the episode with me, and then y'all get a chance to see what I'm talking about. But, you know, if y'all catch it, if y'all feel what I feel, or even if you like this, like me revisiting these episodes, let me know. Drop it in the comments. Tell me how you feel. If you like it, if you don't like it, let me know. Because like I said, I'm just going to be experimenting with a couple different things during this season. In the meantime, you know, I'm trying to keep it light and cute. You know, I'm getting ready for the expo. The expo is in literally, is it next week? It's next week. So the expo is literally next week. So I'm keeping it light as I prepare for it, you know. I found out I will be doing a panel for the expo, so I'm prepping for that along with, prepping for my table and getting everything ready. I got all of my stuff. I'm going to be doing a giveaway. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm super excited. So definitely make sure that if y'all are in St. Louis and available and able to check that out, I will be there at the Emerging Business Leaders Expo from 11 to 4. St. Louis, Missouri. We post the flyers all the time. Just check me out on social media. Actually, matter of fact, go to thinkerversusspeaker.com. I got that flyer sitting right there. If you're still interested in being a vendor, I think they still got a couple slots open. So there is a link to their website on my website. If you scroll down on the homepage, click it. You can still get signed up, learn more about the expo, learn more about the emerging business leaders, and all of that. Last thing that I wanted to do before I hop straight into it, I want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Passion and Purpose Candles. If you didn't know, my parents have a candle company where they sell candles, wax melts, all of that good stuff. I'm actually burning one behind me. Got 2 of the full-size candles behind me, and they are bomb. So like we got this one right here. This is I don't know if y'all can read that or not, but this is Sunset Oasis. It's a wood wick candle, so it doesn't have like your typical wick. They smell amazing. This is my personal favorite. Actually, it's one of my personal favorites, but her fall line is actually coming out, and I got some really good ones in there. There's one, it's like an apple cinnamon something. That one's fire. Orange cider is fire. So if you into candles, wax melts, you looking to get gift sets, I know we got the holidays coming up. Check them out. It's passionandpurposecandles.com. They are also under the sponsors page on my website. If you want to check them out, they are candles with a purpose. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about candle making. It was a purpose. It was really how do I explain it? Actually, my mom explains it perfectly in her episode that we did. It's called Igniting Dreams, where she talks all about passion and purpose and why she does it and where it came from. I think she can do it better justice than I can, but, essentially it was a business that my family created, primarily my mom, to, give her that spark of life back, but to also give back and, help people who have dealt with Alzheimer's and dementia like my family has. Because if you didn't know, my grandpa he actually passed away from dementia a couple years ago. And, it was a tough experience. Clearly I don't like talking about these types of things, but it was it was an experience for my family, none the least. So, if y'all have other people that y'all know who are dealing with family members or people that they know that are dealing with Alzheimer's and dementia, our hearts go out to them. It's not an easy thing to deal with. So, love to y'all. And if y'all want to support a business that supports that, portions of their profits from selling candles actually goes to supporting Alzheimer's and Dementia Foundation. So you can also help people by doing that as well. But that's enough of the sponsors. You know what I'm saying? We gonna go ahead and hop into it. This particular episode, this is one that I did with my uncle. It's called The Right Sauce. And it's one that we recorded back when it was a time. So The Right Sauce happened probably about a month or 2 after the split. And I wasn't super confident about this show yet. I hadn't really found a good direction for it or anything like that. It was just, I didn't really quite know what I wanted to do with this show yet. And I didn't know what it was going to look like. I've been experimenting with a couple things. And honestly, I was in a place where I was just very doubtful about if I wanted to continue or not, if this is really for me, or if it even had a purpose to what I was doing. So I called my uncle. Something told me to call up my Uncle Jerry, because anytime that I talk to him, it's always positive energy, affirmations and just encouragement. And every time I talk to that man, it's almost like he just lights a new fire within me. So, I took that opportunity, called him up. He was willing to do an episode with me, and we just sat and we talked about, answering your calling, because at the time I was starting to understand that this was a part of my purpose and that this was a calling. But, answering your calling is not an easy thing to do sometimes, or at least it wasn't for me. I knew I had a calling to be like somewhat of a leader. Like, I knew I had a higher purpose on my life, but I ran from it. I was never a person that really liked being out in the spotlight. I don't like a lot of attention. I really like to be off to myself and by myself, minding my business. So all of this is new and it's different for me, but it also just feels so right at the same time. And a lot of the experiences that I was having before this point, it was just, I would run from this, and God would just always call me back to it. So that's what this episode is about. We're talking about just answering the call, and when God calls you out, and just going through the changes and just allowing that process of allowing yourself to change, allowing that to happen. So without further ado, you know what I'm saying, let's just go ahead and hop into it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and make this 2 parts. Like, it's already an hour episode, and I'm gonna be adding commentary to it, so it's gonna be a long one, and I'm not about to make y'all sit here for like 2.5 hours. So we're gonna split this into 2 parts, which is also gonna help me as I get ready for this expo. But yeah, if y'all like this kind of style, again, let me know, interact with me a little bit. Tell me what y'all think. If y'all hate it, let me know y'all hate it. If y'all like it, and let me know y'all like it. If y'all have episodes in the catalog that y'all want me to fix and come back to, so we can talk about it a little bit more in depth, let me know. And if you're interested in coming on the show, go to thinkaversyspeaker.com/schedule. Set up a time with me. We can talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. We can set up a time, if it makes sense for you to come on the show, and we can just make it happen. So don't be scared. Just get on there, pick a time out. We'll chop it up, and we can move on from there. But without further ado, for the second time, let's hop into it.
Yo, you already know what time it is. Welcome back to another episode of Thinker versus Speaker, where I'm Marissa the Thinker, sit down with a guest, and we talk about anything, everything, all things life. It's real people having real conversations. So if you into that, make sure that you stay tuned. If you like the episode by the end, make sure you give it a like, comment, share, give us feedback, because at the end of the day, I'm here to create a dialogue. I'm not a professional.
It still sounds muffled to me, and but we working on it, y'all. The episodes sound better now, right? Do the episodes sound better than that now? I know people, to the ones that's been there for a long time, they better now, right? All right, let's go.
Most of the things that I'm talking about, I'm just a person who has lived life and thought things, and I'm here talking about them. So if you're interested in that, definitely stay tuned. Also, if you're easily triggered, it might not necessarily be the place for you. So act accordingly. But if you down for truth, let's get into it. Now, on that note, I'd like to welcome my guests. I got my uncle back in the building. Hey, Jerry, how you doing?
Doing good down the ATL. Look here, Georgia Brown, them boys did a thing, boy. Championship. Look here, there we is.
Did they win?
They won, girl. Georgia Bulldogs, man. It's 2 in a row, man. Shoot, we all wearing red in here. We so bloody, it's a mess.
Wait, they ain't play TCU, did they?
Yes, they did. I tell you, the score was so ridiculous, man. It was like a basketball score. Shoot, I'm feeling sorry for them.
Oh, man. They did so good in the last game. See, I don't be keeping up, but I did see that last game that they had before this one. So I was just like,
I don't really watch sports at all. My brother and my daddy was watching it. That's a fact. I don't watch sports. I will watch sports, but I don't really watch sports like that. Like, I think I watch sports, but I don't really watch sports like that. I know enough to keep up if I'm like ever in a situation where I have to watch the game. but I don't really be keeping up with stuff like that. Like, I'm not an annoying person that's gonna be asking you, okay, who is that person? Okay, what just happened again? I'll keep up once you explain it, but I'll have a lot of questions. I'm not gonna hold you. But I did go to a Mavericks game, and that was clutch. I like that. I would do that again. Like, I think if any sport I'm gonna watch, it's probably basketball. That's about the only sport that I kind of like will sit down and watch. And I know I look super studly, like I keep up with all sports. No, no, I don't. No, I don't. I'm not a full-fledged stud. I'm a STEM. That's for a reason.
Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? I think I forgot who they play. I want to say it's OU, but I know I'm probably wrong.
See, looking lively up here. We doing good. You know what I'm saying? Georgia doing good.
Yeah, you ain't have to spank my hometown. Like, well, that ain't my hometown, but you know what I mean. It ain't your hometown either, so it is.
Like, to the Lou, get something to do. ATL on waiver right now.
That's a good point, because I ain't never seen my brother and my daddy watch so many Cowboys games in my life. I ain't even think they cared.
Oh,
They go now.
You gotta go with some winner, you know what I'm saying? You gotta go with some winner.
Yeah. And I mean, them Cowboys don't give up, because I don't see why people be holding on. It seems like it's the same thing every year.
Yeah, they got good coaches, so they good. So they got good coaches. Yeah.
But yeah, nah, this episode kind of came to my mind at the last minute, but it's one that's definitely been on my heart lately. So like I mentioned it in the last episode, I ain't really been feeling it. I've been challenged with working through my inspiration, and like I've been working on this for, well, it's going on like 2 years, close to, because like, when I started actually putting a podcast into development, it was probably in about like April of like 2021 when I really started working on getting a podcast up, and I've been going at it literally that long. And in the process, it's just like I've learned so many things and I've had so many different experiences, and it feels like I have started over just like so many times, and not started over in the sense of like something is wrong, but like when you start something, it's just like it's a continual learning process. So you always learning how to do things a little differently, finding better ways to do things that you didn't think of. And what I'm learning about myself is like I'm kind of impulsive. I'm not much of a planner. So if I get an idea, I like to just take it and run with it and use the things that I have and just kind of just go with it. And now I'm learning like that is a good thing to have that courage, but it's also a good thing to like take my time and really do things and plan it out and map it out. So I've been having an interesting time learning how to balance those two things, not being so impulsive, but like also planning more. But, it kind of led me to a spot where I was doing so much thinking and so much planning and so much strategizing that I was just kind of like losing motivation. And I remember
You can't, the motivation is, you have to ask yourself a question. When I'm planning, who am I planning this for?
Right.
What am I really ready to receive from the things that I'm planning? And when I plan, do I plan to get a success out of the first time, or I know that it's going to be greater along the way? Let me just share something with you briefly, and briefly, because I'm a deacon in the church and stuff, I'm wilding out, but I'm a deacon still, but
it's just a preacher that ain't committed yet. That's
I got my little time. So, but the thing about it is, while I'm doing the work in the church, I'm the chairman of the deacon. I'm of the deacon, so that means that I'm in charge. You know what I'm saying? So now for several years now, since I've been in charge, every time I plan to do something, I can never get it done correctly because I can never get the people on board to do things the way I want it done. So I keep on, and so it's stressful. It got stressful for me because every time I try to commit something and try to do something, as a team, because I
Yeah.
always let them know that say, look, I'm coming on this here and we're gonna do this here, but we're gonna do it together. I say you don't really have to identify me as your chairman. What you do is identify me as one of the team members, and I'm gonna be a team player. I said, but this is what I'm asking of you. You know, but each time that it fell through because it wasn't what I wanted or how I wanted it to go, I started getting discouraged. I said, you know what? I said, I don't need this here. I mean, I'm so tired of this here. It's been 5, 6, 7 years now, and I still can't get the people to come on board and do the things that I need. So that distraction, what it did is it put me in a place where I didn't care anymore. I said, you know what? I tell people, I say, you know what? I don't have to have a title. You saying I just do what I want to do and then let that be it. But in the meantime, when there's something that's stirring in you that you need to get out, it's gonna stay stirring in you. And I don't care how many times that someone come to you or you get distracted or you're not motivated like you used to. But if it was stirring in you, as it was stirring in you, it's still in preparation. It's still we might not like the season that we put in it. And a lot of times we put the wrong seasons in at the time, and because we put the wrong seasons in there, what we get is it loses the flavor that we want at the time. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It loses that flavor that we want at the time, so we say, no, this is not it. And then we get so discouraged, we say, I'm about to dump this here whole stew. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm through. But we cannot, in preparation time, we cannot get rid of everything that was in preparation, because sometimes you just have to wait and add just something else a little bit more to counteract what's there. So in your season, the things that you're doing in your season and stuff, because of some of the changes that you done made in your life and some of the changes that you done made with this area of stuff where you used to be and where you are now, it's not going to be an easy road, because like I said, is that you're still motivated. You just got some challenges along the way.
Yo, and that's so crazy that he's saying that, because one, the first thing that I'm getting from that is, leadership comes with adversity. Like, if you want to be a leader, a good leader, it's going to be a continual growth process. If you don't like to be challenged, if you don't like to grow, if you don't like to push yourself outside of your comfort zone, you probably will not be a good leader. Let me stand on that. You're not about to be a good leader. Because if you really want to be a good leader, you cannot get stuck in your ways. You cannot be afraid to grow. You cannot be afraid to change. And that's something that I had to learn. You cannot be afraid to push yourself outside your comfort zone. And to do that, you have to find your fire. You have to find your fire. You have to find your passion, because it's going to be so important to carry you forward. Because, I just said it, this does not come without adversity, just period. Like, there are always going to be people that want to challenge your authority. It's always going to be things that you need to learn, things that you haven't experienced before, things that are going to challenge you. And if you find yourself getting to a point where you just quitting at the first sign of just like, this isn't going my way, you about to have a hard time. So something that I had to learn, and even here, so this is from here to now, right? Couldn't tell you this then, but I'm telling you now, is I had to learn to just take those punches and roll with them. Take it and roll with it, because it's always going to be things that kind of seem like bumps in the road, but it's not that deep. It's not that deep at all. Like, it's going to be a solution for whatever that thing is that's causing that bump in the road. But if you immediately are getting flustered, if you are immediately just being like, well, bump this, I'm about to quit, leadership isn't for you. But if you can find that fire in you to keep going and push past that feeling of being frustrated, like, I don't know what to do, you onto something.
Because you got those challenges along the way, it seems like it's hard and almost he's just upsettingly ready to throw in the towel. But the thing about it is, it's that last few bursts of energy that you're gonna have to turn this thing around.
Yes.
See, everybody ain't gonna identify with you. Everybody ain't gonna like you. Everybody ain't gonna love you. But you have to be who you are. Your change is for you. It's not for everybody else. It's for you. And the change that you make in preparation time, it means that you're getting serious about what you want to do and how you want to work it. And you can't go on a level that someone else created for you. You have to go on a level that was created for you and how you did it.
Yeah.
If you start operating on a level that someone else suggested to you, that may not be the level that's for you.
Yeah.
But you have to make your flow grow. You have to make your influence be great. At the same time, you have to have joy about doing it. You got to enjoy it. I know that you enjoy what you're doing. I see how you do things, and you enjoy thinking things out. You enjoy speaking about things, and you enjoy knowing the truth.
Yep.
Thanks.
A lot of people on a podcast and anything else, they don't experience the truth. They experience comedy.
Yep.
They experience the lie. They experience everything else but the truth. But when you go be real to a brother and tell a brother, say, look, I know you say that you a woman chase a brother, but you ugly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think I
Yeah.
laughed a little too hard right here.
But they
And a
want
lot
to.
of times-
Yeah.
A lot of times we don't want to accept the truth. So then that's when you gotta have those that's gonna go against you.
Man, I had, you know what, this ain't related, but I had some, because this is my problem with the internet these days now too, and what I'm having to learn, because like I ain't for everybody, that much is clear, but like from some of the things that I posted this week, I had people commented on my stuff like, yeah, women be tripping, or like, yeah, them niggas weird, and it's just like, hold on now, you missed the point. You know what I'm saying? It's less like, hold on, you missed the point. Cause like what I try to do, I don't woman bash or man bash. I hold people accountable. If it's stupid, it don't matter what side it came from. I'ma say it's stupid. You know?
I don't really call people out as much anymore. I let people think what they think. Like I'm getting to a point where I feel like I don't need to tell you that I think you're dumb. Like I can think you're dumb and not say that out loud. And it's not that I think you're dumb. That's a bad way for me to put it, actually. It's not that I think people are dumb. I think that people have different experiences. I feel like people choose to see things differently, and I feel like everybody has different opinions, and we just see the world differently. That's where I'm at now, where it's just like I feel like we see the world differently. And back then I was ready to argue, but these days I don't want to argue. I don't want to argue. I'm not about to argue, because people gonna think what they gonna think. Like, now I can agree to disagree with somebody, but if you already showing me you're not capable of having a productive conversation, it's nothing here for us.
You know what I'm saying? I'ma just say it's dumb. But like the thing that I see on a lot, especially on these podcasts, especially on these other things, is that it's a bunch of people with one opinion agreeing on everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like somebody said that the sky is green, and you got 20 other people that said, I think the sky green too. You know what I'm saying? Now we got
it's green, but it's a little blue in there too.
It's a lot of
exactly. Now you got a
out
whole
here.
community of people that think that's just the truth, because they just had a whole bunch of people agree with them.
Bring back critical thinking, please. Please bring back critical thinking.
Like, nah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, that's not how this works. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, for me, I was trying to like bend and conform. Like, not conform because I was still trying to be true to myself, but it's just like, okay, what do people want? It's just like, man, fuck what people want. I don't care what y'all want, to be honest. but I care what I want. I care what I want to talk about. You know what I mean? I care about the stuff that matters. I done seen people keep talking about who Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan dating, and it's just like, do y'all not see the world is on fire? Do y'all not see God collecting back taxes right now? It is bigger for right now.
Ain't the whole hype about Will and Jada right now? And these men, okay.
And we worried about the wrong things.
But ain't it too what? Okay.
It's crazy.
That's so true. You know, what you gotta do is, like I said, is, you know, I keep saying it, I keep saying it, be you. And I know that you are who you are and stuff, because what's going on with you right now, and I see it, you know, you're being rebuilt, you're being redefined. You know what I'm saying? What was great in you, it done came from the back and went to the front. Your greatness is starting to be expired, because see, there's people that you're meeting along the way that are starting to look at you in a different way and stuff. And they may have looked at you in a way that, okay, though, she's a happy-go-lucky, you know, don't nothing bother her or nothing. But, you know, saying they starting to see a different seed in you. What's different seed in you is that you got concerns. You know what I'm saying? You got reasons for life. You know, a lot of times as we grow, we got more reasons for death than we do for life and stuff. You know, the word is life. You know, and so, you know, you just have to keep doing what you're doing, because I really believe that, I really believe that God got you preparing you for something special. And I use that term. I say He's preparing you for something special, because a lot of times we don't understand what's going on in our life until we get to a situation where we start calling on something other than what the world offers and stuff. It ain't that you have to be a saved individual to connect with God and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because if you understand it, that God he really pushes people in a place where being on a center card. When I say a center card, is because, you know, like I said, if we always challenge the water card and stuff, but there's a center card. The center card is that when we prepare ourselves to sin and stuff, and then we counteract that, because we say, wait a minute, I'm not going to do this, or I refuse to keep on doing this and stuff. But see, it's just something that you got in you that causes you to change. It's something that you cause you to say that, look, I'm not going to keep on living at this standard and stuff. And I got greater standards and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was just telling someone the other day, and I told them just like the series, I ain't gonna talk on the God strip, but I told them the other day, I said, look here, I said that, you know what, when I first joined the ministry, I said, if you have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, I said, then you know, things are happening because your faith is grown. It means your faith is grown. That means you trust God enough to make something happen, and trust Him enough as the grain of a mustard seed. I said, but look here, I'm 66 years old, and I've been trusting the grain for so long and not understanding the seed. But you know that first, I say the grain came from the seed, and if you allow yourself to plant the seed, let the seed grow, because when the seed grows, there's fertilization period. And from fertilization, there's growth. What you're doing right now is that it was grain at one time and stuff, but see, when you adapted and released yourself from a situation in your life and stuff, what you did was you no longer depended on the grain anymore, because the seed was still laying dormant. The seed was laying dormant because it needed foundation. When you decide to find foundation for the seed, that means that you planted it into good soil. That means you planted it into something that, I'm going to make a change. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do what I want to do. You planted it in good soil. Because you planted it in good soil, now you begin to nurture that soil. What you do is you water it. Every time that you get on, you water that seed. And from that seed, there's sprouted up roots. There's roots of joy. There's roots of happiness. There's roots of questions being answered. There's a lot of roots that's coming out of this here. And from those roots becomes something better than that, because it becomes something with great fruit. Because from that soil, from that seed becomes great fruit. And from the great fruit, there's other seeds that can be multiplied. That means somebody else along the way going to pick up on this here. And when they pick up on it, they're going to say, I want to do something just like this here. And what you done did, because you decided to plant that seed and get away from that grain, watch how your life develops and things change. It's not only just going to help you, it's going to help many others. It is already happening. Your seed is starting to take roots right now. I see it every time I listen to the podcast. I see it. So be thankful that you allowed yourself to get away from the grain of life and went to the seed of life. And that seed is a developing seed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I just have to say that, that I can get away from all the other Christian things, but I just have to say it because, see, I witnessed it because that's what I did with my life. My life is, I was one way with it. I said, Lord, you say trust you a little bit, Lord. I'm going to trust you a little bit. I'm going to say, if you don't work out, then I'm going to do something. I'm going to trust you a little bit. But at some point, at some point in time, you got to wake up. God gives you shelter. Once he gives you shelter and stuff, we look for something. We say, well, you gave me shelter. That comes from the green and stuff. But guys, I'm waiting on you now. I showed you what I can do with the grain. Now you show me what you can do. You know what I'm saying? So you start preparing yourself, and you find out, say, look here, fuck all this grain stuff. I'm going to see. You're going to say something. You're going to say, bump all this here silly stuff. I'm going to do something for myself. I'm going to build on something. I'm going to build on this podcast. I'm going to make this podcast right. Don't you be distracted. Because, God still will all the small things. So don't you be distracted. Don't you let nobody shut you down for no reason. Because see what this is? You will have some struggles in the things that you're doing right now. Some people ain't going to like it. You're going to have moments where you're going to say, oh, man, they can't get this right. Me and you tonight, when we was trying to get on, we went through so many different things and stuff. But did you stop? You said, oh, I got another way. And that's how you got to do your podcast with the people that you got on here. You say, wait a minute, let's try this. Let me ask you this. And you doing a great job. Don't you let nobody shut you down. And don't you shut yourself down.
Thank you.
Yo, a feeling just came over me listening to him say that. Because this episode probably took place probably about a year ago. And as I'm listening to that and thinking about how much my life has changed from then to now, he spoke nothing but facts over my life. I had chills sitting here. That's why, if you was watching my face, that blew me away because he spoke nothing but facts over my life. Like what he just said, y'all, that's exactly what happened. Because everything about my life from then to now has changed. Even that episode in particular is when the podcast took a bit of a turn. And after that, that's when, I had Ashton come in, and Ashton came through with the intro. And then Trey came, and then Trey prayed over the podcast. And y'all have talked to Trey plenty of times. He was just on there last week with emerging business leaders. That's what this is the time where I was referring to, where I'm a year ago, we came and we talked about God's business plan. The facts are in the catalog. The story is in the catalog of this show. And, then we have episodes with Key, and we talking about the beauty of faith and everything like that as I'm continuing to grow. And it's just one, my entire circle changed. The way I see myself changed. The way that I value myself changed. The way I hold myself changes. And even now it just clicks I'm about to do my first panel. And a year ago, I was trying to decide if this was for me, if this was something that I was meant to do. And it's crazy to think about because that's all I had. I had it. I wrote it in one of my journals back in the time. I was like, God, y'all don't understand. I've had times where I'm talking to God and I'm like, God, I don't trust you. So if you think that people don't get it, I've had those conversations where I'm like, God, I know I'm supposed to trust you, but I am afraid to trust you. I am terrified to trust you because what am I just supposed to sit here and think that you're supposed to show up for me? Am I really supposed to sit here and believe that you about to magically transform everything in my life? Because I can't see that. I don't see that vision. And I'm just supposed to sit here. So all I had at that time was a mustard seed. And from that mustard seed, it sprouted into something greater and bigger and truer. And that's why I can walk around today and I can tell God, like, I trust you with my career. I trust you with my relationships. I trust you with my family. I trust you with my life, because God has proved it to me with that mustard seed. So sometimes all you need is a mustard seed. As long as you keep a little bit of faith, just a little bit of faith, it's gonna get better. So when I say these things, it's not me just talking to talk. It's me talking because I've been there and I've experienced that, and I'm talking on my experience. I can't tell you what to do with your life. All I can tell you is what I've experienced, and that mustard seed brought me a long way, and it's going to continue to bring me a long way because it's changed me as a person. I'm telling you, because back then I wasn't a person that was ready for adversity. I wasn't a person that was ready to roll with the punches. I wasn't mature yet. I wasn't ready yet. And God ain't going to give you nothing until you ready. Absolutely nothing until you ready. So hold on to that mustard seed. Even if you have just a mustard seed of hope, that's all you need. And just keep on trying with it. A little bit of faith. It's okay to not always have it sometimes. That's why you have to build a relationship with God. You have to build a relationship with God, and you have to actually walk with them to actually understand, because otherwise it's just going to be words, and otherwise it's just going to be things that you can't see. And what do you want somebody to tell you? What do you want? How can anybody show you anything? How are you going to believe what it is that I'm saying if you don't try? How is it that you're going to believe what God is saying if you don't ever try? He can't give you anything unless you try faith. All you have to do is try faith. All you have to do is take one step, one action, one motive, do one thing that you're being directed to do, and watch how your life changes. See, this is why this is my favorite episode.
Thank you. I don't know how you. I don't know how you bounce back from that, but it's true. And you know what? There's validity in that as well, because what I'm learning is, I'm getting to a point where I'm able to recognize patterns in my life, and I'm changing from a person that when things don't go what feels like it should be the right way, it's just like, all right, I'm done with it. And I've done that for so long, and that's what, and I think that's kind of like what you're saying too, because like the seed has been in me even still, because even when I say I started working on the podcast in April 2021, Thinker versus Speaker was a product in my mind since like April 2020, So it's been in my head for that long.
2018, I said it wrong, and that's bothered me ever since. It's been a product in my head since 2018. It didn't come up again until 2020, and I didn't start acting on it till 2021. That's bothered me that I said it that way for the longest time. Glad I got to correct it.
But I would go through things, and I would get distracted, and I would, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just run from it. I'd run from it. And every time it's just like God will slap me back down, and He'd take me right back to that little idea. He takes me right back to that place. And now I'm at an interesting crossroads, because it's just like I've done this work, and not only like this podcast has been more than just a podcast. Like my life transforming in the midst of going through this process of trying to learn how to do this, to incorporating this into my life. So now it's at a point where it's just like there's purpose in it, and realizing it's just like, okay, I like to help people. I've always liked to help people. I like to talk. I like to think about things, and apparently the things that I've just sat by myself and thought about and kept to myself for so long are things that people can actually resonate with, are things that people actually want to hear. Not everybody, because I'm not for everybody. I'm not for the majority, to be honest with you, but I'm for somebody. And that's what, the part I'm learning to understand. and going from there, the times where it's just like I want to quit, it's like as soon as I'm just like, God, I want to quit. And I've done this more times than just in a podcast, because healing in itself is a process.
I've wanted to quit on life, like for real. Like, honestly, like if y'all out there and y'all think that people don't understand or people don't get it, trust me, bro. Like, it's more people that out here that get it than you think. Like, honestly and truly, that's why we just have to learn how to talk about what it is that we going through, so we can find people that understand. Because I wanted to quit way more than the podcast, but I've come a long way.
Unlearning all of the things that I've had to unlearn has been a process. There have been so many more times in my life besides just when I started this podcast where I say, God, I ain't got it. I want to quit. I don't want to be the bigger person. I'm tired of being the bigger person. I'm tired of being strong. I'm tired of always having to figure everything out. God, I'm tired. There are so many times that I've just cried out to God and just been like, tired. I'm over it. I don't want to do it anymore. Like, why does everybody else get to live however the fuck they want to, but I gotta follow your rules in this world? You know what I'm saying? I gotta follow your rules in this world because I already know what's gonna happen if I don't, and I'm tired.
But you have to. It's another thing you got to realize too, man. A lot of people don't think about this, but you know what? Nobody on this earth is perfect.
No.
Soul on this earth is perfect. We're imperfect. We born imperfect because we're imperfect. What means that we make mistakes in our life. That means that we do things that are maybe not be pleasing to God at the time and stuff, because that's for us to make.
Yeah.
That's for us to make. And when you make those mistakes, then like I said, only person that's going to correct it is yourself. Only person going to take, but there's going to be many that's going to come in and try to correct you. But it takes you to correct yourself. And once you correct yourself, then you see changes coming about in your life. There are going to be many times in your life that your friends are going to come along and tell you, come on, girl, come on back. Let's do this here. Let's do this. You know, this party coming up. You know, you got this here going on. But when they find out that you got something else going on and stuff, then they're going to start not liking you for your change. They're not going to like it. But that's all the part of the growth that you got and what you try to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to walk away from a lot of things in your life. It's going to have to, you know what I'm saying? Walk away from a lot of things in life. But not that. And there's some things you walk away from, you can come back to them later, but you know what I'm saying? You come back to it with a different fashion.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
A different spirit and stuff, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I mean, right now, this is your preparation season. I mean, you're in a strong preparation right now, and you're developing, you know what I'm saying? You're in development right now as we speak and stuff, and there's great change happening. So you just can't let that go, you know? And when I tell you that there, I'm talking to myself also, because, you know, I told you I had this program that I was making, that I'm dealing with and stuff. And it's been getting so frustrating with me because I can't get the background help that I need. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's been getting real frustrating to me, and I'm kind of like you are. I'm kind of like you. I'm like, you know what? Nobody don't want to give me no help. You know what I'm saying? You know, just bump this here. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of just going out there. I'm struggling. I'm straining, trying to get this done. I can't get it done. You know, and some of them that was helping me, you know, that went on voice out. So, you know, they want to see me shut down. So why should I just keep on doing it?
Right.
You know, and it feel like one day I said that there, God popped me on the side of my head.
That's how I be.
You better wake up, man. He said, look here. He said, God said, you know what? When I gave this to you, God said that God showed me this. He said, I showed you this here. And I want to show you nothing that you couldn't handle on your own.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't show you this podcast that you decided to do. He didn't show it to you that you cannot handle it on your own. You know what I'm saying? You can get some help along the way, but what it is those that are trying to see you drop everything, they're waiting by the wayside so they can smile and laugh and have a good time. But you can't. I used to say you can't let Satan win.
God ain't gonna let them.
You can't let niggas in. You just can't have, you know what? You can't have no niggas at truth trying to mess up what you got going on. So, and that's all it is. They sitting back. Hey, how she doing this week? What's going on with her this week? You know, is she gonna do this week? Man, look, you got to keep moving. My leaders always told me, say, keep moving regardless. And that's how I'm doing my program and stuff, because somebody gonna need me. Somebody needs a testimony from me. I need to sit back and listen to somebody that's going through something. I need to share with them. I need to give them information about how they can help themselves and stuff like that. It's needed. You know what I'm saying? Because I was once out there doing those things and stuff. So I know there's people out here that sit in the background saying, I wish I could have somebody to talk to. But I'm out there smoking crack, and I'm smoking meth and stuff. And I'm doing this here, and I can't let nobody know that I'm doing this. So I got to smile in their face, and I got to go home, and I got to do this. But no, so you got somebody left that can sit back and listen, because somebody got tears to shed. And once they talk to you, they realize that when you talk, they talk their way through a situation. They say, all right, you know what? I can't live like this here. I want to make some changes. You know, they got somebody. But we have to be able to open ourselves to people in a certain way, that we're able to listen, that we're able to care, that we're able to share our love, that we're able to inform. You're able to get information to them that can help them. We need this here. Your podcast is doing the very thing that my program is doing. You're getting stuff out there to the people in a way, because conversation, and then you have the right thing that's coming up on there. You get stuff out to people and have them think like, wow, you know what? I didn't think about it like that. You know, that makes a lot of sense. And then they're able to respond. You know, and then there's some going to even do it more than respond because of the nature of it. Some say, well, I'm going to support your podcast, and I want to send this your way. Let me cash app you this year, because I want to send something your way and stuff, because I want you to keep doing what you're doing and stuff. That season is upon you because of the people that you're interacting with, and the importance on what you're trying to get out. So, you know, say your season is up on you right now.
Yeah.
So while you're waiting for it to really manifest itself, keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop.
Yeah.
Don't stop comparing. When you get a thought that you want to talk about anything that you can find someone that can give you some information, don't stop. Just use it and stuff, and listen and stuff, and then share with the people. And you're doing a great job. You know, I commend you, because I get on there and I be checking stuff out, and I say, man, you know, and I keep on trying to tell my wife, hey, you should listen to some of this shit. But, you know, that's, you know, God, you know, he's a person that he don't despise a small beginning. It's small. But like I said again, you're in your development state. You know, when you develop it, that means something's growing. It's growing. People, you know what? If people are little podcasts and they ain't responding, they ain't letting you see them on it, or none of that stuff there. But in you really research it and look, you gonna say, "Wow, I didn't know I had that many followers."
Yeah.
But it's going to happen. It's happening right now. So don't you dare shut down. Don't you give up. Don't you get depressed. Don't you get nothing but motivated.
I know for a fact there's people that listen to my show that don't admit that they listen to my show, and that's crazy. Like, they'll admit that they listen to my show in person, like when they see me, but like out loud, they don't admit that they listen to the show, and I find that so ironic. But like, he did not lie. He did not lie at all. He did not lie. That's crazy. That man spoke. Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because what I'm learning is just like, one, these are kind of like tests in a sense, or at least that's what they feel
That's
like.
what
That's
they
how I
were.
had to, that's kind of like how I have to
they
chalk
are.
it up, right? Because even in those moments where you know what I'm saying, where I want to give up, one thing that I do now that I didn't used to do in the past is I do turn to God. I turn to God sooner than later.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll go for guidance, and it's just like, what do you want me to do? You know, because if I, and this is why I talk about it too, because it's just like, if you got something that's on your head and in your heart, see, the thing that I realize now is just like, every time that I stop, it always goes back to this. And it's just like, okay, well, if it always comes back to this, then it got to be something to that. You know what I'm saying? If God always whispering in your ear, you need to write, you need to record, you need to do this, you need to do that, or whatever it is that God is whispering in your ear, you know what I'm saying? He always gonna lead you back to that place, and it's for a reason. Cause even when I those moments and I'm just like, God, is this really what you want me to do? I asked him that today. I'm like, God, is this really what you want me to do? Do you need me to take a break? What do you need to what do you need me to do? And he's just like, nope, keep going. And it's just like, and you think about all of the people that you see that you look up to and you were great. It's just like they go through things that you don't see, right? And it's just like, how many times in my life have I come across something where it's just like, I could find another way to go about doing this that might be successful, but instead I just walked away because it was too hard. But anything great ain't gonna be easy. And you know what I'm saying? And the thing that God does, if you're able to see God and recognize him, it's just like when I hit those moments and I'm like, God, what do I need to do? It's just like, it might sound like he ain't listening. Cause I had it sometimes too, where it's just like, God, I be praying all the time. I be like, are you even listening to me? Like, do you hear me? You know what I'm saying? Who do you hear me? And it's just like, when you finally settle down and and just get off of it for a minute, that's when you get that answer. You get that next thing that you were supposed to do, that next key, that next idea, that next episode, that next direction, that next whatever.
Yeah. You have to evaluate your stuff as you go along with stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because, when you look back over the years and stuff and you start thinking about certain things and stuff, you yourself a question that, is there anything I could be different, you know what I'm saying? But it's not that you could do something different, it's that you need to advance what you're doing and then just do something a little bit more. You can go back to some of the roots that you had already planted and stuff. And then a lot of times people talk like this, they say that, look, they said, how in the heck can you talk about and you want a bigger seller than? Because you can.
Yeah.
Because he'll listen. And that's what a lot of people won't tell you, because everybody gets so spiritual and stuff, and then they want to throw you a lot of scripture and everything because they want to get on you about the little small things that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? But you can't let that distract you either and stuff because they don't know the truth.
I kind of know where he going with this, but it feels like a good time to go ahead and, you know what I'm saying, cut that. Because like I said, I don't want to make this too long. I want to split it into two parts. And like I said, I know where I think I got a good feeling where he's about to go with it. And I feel like that's a good part to go ahead and start on for next time. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, wow. One, I'm glad that I revisited this episode. It feels like I needed to revisit this episode. And it was kind of fun being able to react to it and say what it's making me think and what it's making me feel. So if y'all like the way that this happened, go ahead and leave a like and like tell me what you think about it under the video. Because I'm very curious to see if y'all actually like this, what it is that I'm gonna do. But I'm gonna you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna finish this up and then bring that to you next week. You know what I'm saying? In the meantime, like, I feel like it's a good way for us to kind of like take a break between episodes, like, and one, just kind of highlight the episodes that we've already done that, came out at a time where I didn't have the best setup for it. So now we get to release it to a new audience. And like I said, I want to pull those old ones from the air and then put these new ones out. So if y'all want to see the version that I've remastered now, without me talking over it, you know what I'm saying? Also let me know. Do y'all want to get a version without me on it, or do y'all like the versions with me on them? Do you want me to do both? Let me know what y'all think. But I really do feel like this was a good conversation. It's definitely been a good conversation so far. And just in the first, this is only the first 30 minutes of the episode. We managed to get an hour out of it, but it's great. And it's so crazy because, the things that he talks about in this one, where it's just like, you can't be afraid to spend that time alone. I know so many people who have of fear of loneliness, like where they just don't want to take that time. So they always are jumping into new things. They don't want to be still. And it's just like the healing is in the stillness. You know what I'm saying? He didn't lie. Like that time that I spent this last year, the last 2 years, because this 2023, I've been going at this since 2021. I've spent so much time alone, with God, getting to know myself again, getting to know who God is and how God works in my life, getting to know who I am as a person and what it is that I'm willing to stand for. And doing so just helped me see so many things differently. I had to do a lot of crying. I had to do a lot of healing and changing and seeing ways where I messed things up in my life, where I chose the wrong route, and seeing different ways that I can change things. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing wrong with spending that time alone. I know it is scary, but it's so necessary if you want to grow as a person. It's so necessary if you want to elevate. And I was actually telling somebody this the other day. It's just like, low key, if you got a calling over your life, it's not even optional. It's not even optional. Like, it's not. Like, if you are living a chaotic life and you get these whispers in your head and things keep going left and things keep going wrong, it's because it's something else that you're supposed to be doing and you're not heeding the call. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. Like, it's hard to heed that call. Like, when look, I used to say it all the time. Like, when I was younger, I was like, yo, God, I hope you ain't calling me to be a pastor or anything like that. And by no means am I saying I'm a pastor. Like, I would be like 11 saying these things, you know? So it's just like, when you have a calling, when you know that it's something out there that you're supposed to do. Because like I said, I did not like being in the spotlight. I did not like being the center of attention. Even when I started the podcast, I did not want to be a singular host. But here I am. And I'm here, and now I'm taking on things, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to think about where I was as a person, right? When I started the podcast in the beginning, I was nervous to be a singular host. But now when you get things like that, get things like this panel, it's just like, it's an easy yes. Are there nerves? Absolutely. But I'm here for this. This is what I asked for, and I know, because of all of the work that I've done, all the effort, all the sacrifices that I made, this is exactly what I've asked for. So now that the opportunity presents itself, it's excitement and not fear, because you fought those fears, because you figured out who you are and what you wanted and what direction you wanted in your life. So now when you get presented opportunities, you are ready for them. And a lot of the times, it's not that you being held off, or it's not that you being forced to wait because it's not for you. It's not that you are being made to wait because you don't deserve it. It's because you need to grow. Because God wants you to be successful. You were born to be successful, but he's not going to give you those opportunities until you're ready. So all of that time that I was spent, because here's the thing, I would be wanting to quit because it would be like, I'm not getting the results that I want. I wasn't getting the results that I wanted because I was not ready. I would have people reaching out to me to do things, and I would just act like I didn't see it because I was afraid. So I was not ready. Now I'm more ready. And there are things that I want right now today that I don't have. And that's because I'm not ready, but I'm getting ready. And I can find peace in the fact that I'm getting ready. And I have faith that those things will come. Why? Because I started at square one. I'm not saying I'm on level 10. I might be on level 3. I might be on level 2. I might be on level 5. I might be on level 7. But I know I'm going to get to 10, so I ain't tripping. And that's how it has to be. That's how operating in faith is. That's what it's like. So take that mustard seed. Take that mustard seed and you water that mustard seed and walk away from it. Water that mustard seed. Walk away from it. Do something else. And watch what happens. Just keep focusing on you. Focusing on what you need to do. I'm at a point now when I talk to people and people talking about life and they asking me for advice, I don't want to hear what that other person did. I'll listen, But once you get done talking, I'm going to ask you, what did you do and what are you going to do about it? And sometimes people hate that, but I always go back to it, because what did you do and what are you going to do about it? Because those are the only two factors that you can actually control. You can't control what he or she or they is about to say. You can't control what he, she, they is about to do. You can't control any of that. You can't control if your car's working, if it's not working. You can't control those factors outside of yourself. The only thing that you can control is your mind, your thoughts, and your actions. So if you keep going in the direction that you know is right, that works for you, bump what everybody else thinks. Bump what everybody else got to say. Bump everybody else's opinion. It does not matter, because at the end of the day, you need to go to bed peaceful at night. You need to be the one that can sleep at night. Because those people, you don't know if they sleep at night. You don't know if they sleep good. You don't know if they sleep bad. You don't know, because it's not your life. So why are you worried about what other people think? Why are you worried about the outside world? Focus on you. Focus on you. Focus on your journey. Focus on your path and learn to love it. If you're not living a life that you absolutely love, if you're not living a life that you can feel content in every day when you wake up and when you go to sleep at night, you can change it. You can. It's resources. It's ways to do it. It's things out there. It's people that are willing to hear you. People that are willing to help you. But you have to be willing to find it. You have to be willing to take that step. You have to be willing to open your mouth. You have to be willing to change. And you have to have that mustard seed of faith that it can. But with that being said, let's go ahead and wrap up part 1. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give it a like, share, you know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the channel and let other people know so we can grow. You know what I'm saying? We got a fancy dancy website, thinkerversusspeaker.com, that'll give you everything that you need to know, especially if you're looking for my social media, you want to schedule a time to talk about coming on the show, or if you want to read more about each of the episodes. You know what I'm saying? I've turned them into blogs, or at least a lot of the more recent episodes, I've turned them into blogs so you can read about them instead of watching them. And I got a lot of episodes on there if you just want to sit there and watch Thinker versus Speaker and get caught up on what we do. It's also a thing if you want to sponsor the channel too. So all of that, any way to contact me, all things Thinker versus Speaker is on thinkerversusspeaker.com. Shout out to Chris Perry of Perry Web Design. He made the website. So if you're looking to get a website made, or if you want to, you know what I'm saying, enhance your website, work on it a little bit, he's the guy for that. So definitely make sure you check him out. All of that will be on my sponsors page. Same as for Passion and Purpose Candles. You can go to their website. You can go to his website. You can go to Emerging Business Leaders website. You can do all of that from let's say it again, guys, thinkerversusspeaker.com. But with that being said, we're done with part 1. I'm about to go eat and play with my dog for a minute, and then we'll be right back. Next week, I'll see y'all for part 2, and then a week after, it'll be the time for the expo, so we'll see what I do after that. I'm going to get a lot of footage and everything recorded for y'all. It's going to be an amazing time. So shout out to the emerging business leaders, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Smooth, mate.